Hey, I'm ElusiveKev. Welcome back to MotoGP 17 and the manager career as we're headed to Spain. And once again in free practice, MacDonald is the quickest on the Ducati ahead of Rossi, Marquez, Vinales, Dovi, Pedrosa, Crutcho, Inoni, Zarco and Lorenzo just beating out Petrucci, almost actually over half a second of the Pramac. So let's see if MacDonald can translate this pace into qualifying. So here we are for 2 laps at glory. Can MacDonald grab his first pole on a Ducati? He's looking good after free practice. You know, it took quite a few laps to get up to that mark over a race distance. It's very all over the place really. The Ducati very unpredictable at times, but eventually got into the rhythm. And let's see what it can do on the soft tyres. Remember, he set that time in practice on mediums, which is going to use for the race. Now you have 0 tyre wear like we saw in Misano. Oh, but a bit wide. Into the left hand, they're just about holding on to the back end as well. It goes into the right. Now down the roller coaster, here we go. The first on Ducati. 100%. Almost losing their rear end. And again, that's the thing which perhaps lacking around this circuit really is that rear end stability. Now some of these corners. Braking isn't actually too bad around here. Here it goes into the right, and perhaps losing a bit more brake than I would in the Yamaha. We can be a bit more aggressive on the power now that we know how to feed it in as well. As we reach over 200 miles per hour for the final couple of corners. Lovely corners. This left-hander, I know MacDonald will. I was thinking fondly of it over the years. In the final corner, just flow beautifully into each other. And he's already in the 44s. 44.9. Goes a bit wide into the first corner, which is kind of expected when you full gun it over that start-finish line. And so you just kissing the curves, not going over them, kissing them. That's what you need to do. Bit tighter there, smoother pickup of the bike as well. Look at that, a 10th up. It's a bit of unusual line into that right hand, a bit narrower than you expect, but seems to help as he goes wide into the first part of the roller coaster. That may have cost him vital time in improving his lap time, the first go around. And that was pretty damn good on that first lap. Made a minor mistake early into that, but apart from that, it wasn't too bad as he's gone into the desert. Even then, he's still staying on top of the bike, is MacDonald. He's going to be using the alternate route here to rejoin the circuit. Get 15-second penalty, so we perhaps won't do that in the race. But he's going to finish this that. Just 21 seconds off his pole time. He's a bit more like a touring car than a MotoGP bike on this lap. It is that time. It's all sliding wide. As there he goes, full guns it out. That corner. 50.9, but the time penalty is 21.4. But still, it's that first lap which matters for MacDonald. Is it good enough for pole? Oh, yes, it is. Easily. By almost a second ahead of Marquez, Vinales third, Rossi fourth, Dovi fifth, Pedrosa sixth, Crutcho leads the third right ahead of Inoni and Lorenzo, and then on the fourth we've got Zarco, Olga and Middle once again in the Mark VDS sneaking into qualifying too. So can MacDonald actually back it up in the race this time around? Now let's look at a beautiful grid with MacDonald on pole on the Ducati. As you look further down, there's Miller in 12th. Pretty happy with that effort as the Australian. And outside the top 12, got Petrucci, Redding, Baptista, Spargo, Baz, Rins. And on the 7th row, there's Magnum in 21st, once again behind Barbera. And we're back in their home round. And on the special row is Sam Lowe's.
Just a few more seconds for the race to start. Will those riders on the front row be able to make the most of their advantage? Or will those pre-race nerves get the better of them?
You know what the Ducati reminds me of? The old Grassini Honda, which Marco Melandri rode so well in 2006. There we go. Wait for the lights to appear and go out for this 6-lap race. Get it into the right camera as well. MacDonald on the medium tyres, remember, he's trying to hold on to the lead, but look at that from Vinales. Reigning champ, he wants to still be in his title run and retain his title, and that's a move. Make sure you do. And that's a move for MacDonald, make sure you take it away from him. Taking a bit early into this left-hander. It takes the line away from Vinales, which is most important. So he can hold on to the lead. Again, his medium tyres might take a lap or two to get into the sweet spot, but then MacDonald will be flying after a couple of laps. And then maybe for the remaining couple of laps, he can just nick after the tyres. Well, at least that's the plan. For most of the season, the plan has gone well. Did not go well last time, Misano, but so far he's leading. For 6/10 as well. He goes through that dodgy left-hander. It can have the effect that, say, that Valencia corner can have. Red Bull Ring, final corner. He goes through it well, does MacDonald. And at the end of this first lap, there's almost a second lead over the home heroes of Vinales and Marquez. This is more like it from MacDonald. This is more like it from Ducati as well. Pretty good round here in Aragon, in the hands of Lorenzo, particularly this season in real life. We have Alvaro Baptista as well. As there goes Hector Barbara. Down all the other Ducatis. If I remember correctly off the top of my head. It's amazing how many Ducatis there actually are on the grid. As one does at a 49 flat on the opening lap. He's built a handsome lead. Just when you thought the change to a new bike may be faltering, MacDonald's title battle. Title challenge for his first and only MotoGP crown. Look at his response in Aragon. Staying clear of the curbs. And there's over a second lead on Vinales with Marquez behind his fellow Spaniard. Rossi off the podium. Remember, Marquez is best of the rest, the challengers. Now after this race, there'll only be 100 points available. So if MacDonald stays where he is, Marquez will be around 3 race wins behind with 4 to play for. So you can virtually rule him out. But where's the flying fin, most importantly? With this launch, MacDonald way ahead of his teammate and title rival. He's now 1.3 seconds ahead. And now the tyres are starting to come to the bike and MacDonald. Starting to get into that range. It goes a bit wide into the left-hander, but that's fine as long as you don't clip that inside curb. If you do, you're down, as we've seen in the past from MacDonald. Round here, but a 1.4 second lead. And I thought change to Ducati might make these races more interesting. Well, it did in Misano, for the wrong reasons. But now in Aragon, it's business as usual once again for MacDonald and Elusive as he goes on to the third lap of the race for a 46.9. I feel there's even more time in the bank as he ran wide in that penultimate corner. 1.3 seconds ahead of Vinales. He's just in a beautiful flow around this Aragon circuit. Said that in the past around MacDonald round here, but hasn't always resulted in the victory. Got some classic battles, especially in Moto 3. He's got a 2-second lead on Vinales. But Aragon's always been one of those circuits a bit kinder, especially in the dry. In the wet occasion, it's been horrendous in past games. In this game it's fine, but in past games, I remember it was MotoGP 15, it was terrible. Well, it could have been Valentino Rossi the game. They just got the bouncing wrong milestone, but again they've got it wrong, but this is to the other way. This one was just managing in this third lap. Not really going very fast, but he's hitting apexes half the time. That's a bit better into left-hander. Gets on the power and there's over a 2-second lead on Vinales with Marquez in third. So still, if MacDonald makes a mistake, he's right in that pack, and as we saw in Misano, he's perhaps not the biggest fan of being in a pack. Bit of a lone wolf is MacDonald. Goes slightly wide in the final corner. As we go into the second half of the race, setting another 46. Another fastest lap by half a second. 46.4. As you saw, he didn't ride particularly well that previous lap either, so there's still more time in the bank. Could maybe dip into the 45s if he so wants to. As we look at the bottom right as well for the tyre wear, virtually non-existent. Tyres around a fifth of the way worn. So again, it is just like Misano, perhaps overkill going for the mediums. Could have just survived on the softs. So as he's riding out in front like this, he could just manage the tyres, manage his pace too. Vinales and Marquez behind. But the biggest question about this race is, where is the flying Vin? Because you know where Marquez and Vinales are, we know where Rossi is as well, probably in the top 5. But the flying Vin's not scoring big points. MacDonald's got one hand on the trophy. And this Aragon circuit I do quite like it. It was a bit out of place though on the calendar when you have 4 Spanish rounds. Now these 3 of them draw massive crowds. Aragon doesn't seem to kind of have the facility to draw the have crowds as massive as Barcelona has. MacDonald is down. And there's Vinales. There's Marquez. So that is the mistake, and he's down to third. Now he's got a bet on his hands on these last couple of laps. Yeah, they just don't have facilities maybe to handle crowds as big as Barcelona or Jerez, who are immensely popular, and so is Valencia, of course. It's the season finale. And so we go on to the penultimate lap of the race. Can MacDonald recover? But the circuit is fantastic, as we've got Rossi in fourth, and oh, Marquez down just by himself in the first corner, chucking his title chances away. Pedro's now up to 4th ahead of his teammate. Did not expect to see that from Marquez. As now MacDonald chases down Vinales for the victory, but does he have to? As he's in a Yamaha sandwich with Rossi behind. Just behind by half a second. Vinales almost 2 seconds in front. MacDonald's got loads of tyre left. Can afford to push. He definitely has the pace on the Yamaha. But does he need to, as I said? These are solid championship points now. He's gone from cruising for victory, just thinking of the championship and grabbing second. That's nicely slid into that left hand, a very tricky corner to get right, and his right hander over the crest. Okay, MacDonald, don't touch that inside curb, as he is gaining impressively on Vinales. That's why we've always run slightly wider in that corner, just messed up on that did MacDonald, but he's gained a second on Rossi. I pulled a second away from Rossi, gained a second on Vinales. Let's head on to the final lap. Could it be more heartbreaking Aragon for MacDonald? Or will you just choose to sit in second, as he is so much faster than Vinales? He might not want to. Sino's got the pace on the reigning champ, and of course it is Vinales. There goes MacDonald into the 45s. Told you he had some time in the bank. Get to the 45s. Here's the reigning champ, and this would be something to win this race ahead of him and effectively knock him out of the championship as well. In Spain, too. Not too bad for MacDonald either. He grabs back the lead on this final lap. And now he's probably going to just put away. As he used that speed he had in reserve, he's got a half-second gap to Vinales now. He's around halfway through this final lap. MacDonald just creating some drama here. Losing concentration for a sec. Give himself a challenge. But it's like he's prevailed, while Marcus especially hasn't. What Marcus on that Honda? Don't really see that in this game either. But they have patched that in. Did milestone, one of the early patches this game. And good to actually see it as well. No proof that there are some errors that opponents can make. And look at this, over a second gap on Vinales. Surely MacDonald's not going to be denied victory, his first victory on a Ducati. As I said, one hand on the trophy maybe, on the title, that elusive MotoGP title. It's been a long while since that Moto3 title. Got close in Moto2. But now in Aragon, he's very close to the big one that everyone wants, as he punches the air in delight and wins by 2.6 seconds off the fast lap by a country mile, with Rossi in third, Rosa fourth, Dory fifth, Lorenzo sixth, Crutchlow seventh, Iannone eighth. Marcus recovers to ninth ahead of Petrucci, and there's a flying thing down in 11th, even though he had the pace for perhaps a top 5 finish, just could not battle his way through the field like he could in Misano, with Battista in 12th, Miller 13th, Zarco in 14th, and Redding scoring the final point in his Premac by over a second ahead of the Aprilia of Alicia Espargaro. He got hit to Barbara after his tumble last in his home race. So in the championship, MacDonald leads by 61 points with only 100 available. So big changes behind the flying fin in the championship, as Rossi's now just 16 points behind him in third, 5 points ahead of Vinales, with Marcus down to fifth after that tumble, 84 points back, with Dovi in sixth, Pedrosa 7th, Crutcher 8th, Zarco 9th, Petrucci round out the top 10, as the only other change in the order is Battista ahead of Lois Baz in the battle between Avintia and Aspar as well, with Bradley Smith last the point scorers, as in the constructors stand Ducati lead by 13 points ahead of Yamaha, with Honda in third, Ducati, Suzuki in fourth, Aprilia in fifth, and KTM in sixth. There are not two Ducatis in the championship, as for the team's rankings, Elusive top 500 points, so 98 ahead of the Yamaha team, with Honda in third, Ducati 4th, Premac 5th, Tech 3 6th, LCR 7th, Suzuki 8th, Cristini 9th, Mark VDS 10th, Aspar ahead with Vintia by 3 points now, with the factory KTM effort at the back. And yes, a very sweet victory for MacDonald, once again reigning in Spain. He does like this country, as he is surfing the wave of success once again for the Scot, as he won from pole. Yes, he had a tumble to make it a bit interesting, but he was not going to be denied in that race, with the flying fin 21st from 11th from 21st, not the result he needed. Has in Moto2 double podium for Elusive. Portuguese rider started on pole, finished in second, up to third in championship, while Andrea started 32nd, finished in third, still leads the championship. While in Moto3 it was another 1-2, the Swede ahead of Aragon, and they are 1-2 in the championship. As in Moto2, our riders have improved their skills. Andrea here's throttle management, and the Portuguese rider everything else, braking, cornering and body position, and a decent haul of credits and reputation. As we have got to rest after a very exciting weekend, and heavy partying, of course, from the Elusive crew. But let's firstly check the garage as well. I get the feeling something's been developed. They have. So what have we got to develop for the KTM? Is there anything else? The engine is complete. Oh, it's the brakes. We've got to develop the brakes to make that 100%. And that will take 8 weeks. That will take until the end of the season. As we end the episode with an activity day, we do a photo shoot for 15,000 credits, autograph session for 525, reputation, coach, do some about muscles training, improve the corner ability by 20% for the next race, more campaign, can just spend extra credit bonus for the next race you choose sponsor objectives. Of course, it's going to be the coach and the abs about muscles training. As I think we've got to check on the garage once again, as I forget, I feel another part's been developed. It has. So, what do we have remaining for the KTM? To make it 100%, it is just the frame, and I believe everything else is being developed. So, that will take 8 weeks for the frame, so just after the season, unless we do the test at the end of the season. We might do that as well, with the suspension taking 3 weeks, the brakes 6 weeks. So next time out, we'll be heading to the start of the free fire races at the end of the season, beginning with the Training Wheel MotoGP Grand Prix of Japan. Normally a kind circuit to MacDonald, and if it's kind to him once again, it could perhaps crown him champion. Find out if that happens next time. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you then.